For the record, this is Jesse McAnally.
Yeah, and for the record, this is Andrew DeWolf, and I don't want to be here.
For the record, this is Liz Eston, just to be clear.
And just for the record, welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I tried to get Andrew and Liz to like musical theater.
For the record, Jess just made a face at me.
For the record, Jess and Andrew are fighting again, and I don't like it.
For the record, Liz is making shit up, and she's got her fingers crossed behind her back, and there's also a monkey in here. Oh, listen to that monkey rustle around. It's definitely in here.
His name is Henry. He's cute.
Yeah, 36 questions. That's what we're covering this week. Podcast musical. We've done it.
For the record, I just lit the house on fire.
Oh, no!
For the record, I have a question for you both. Given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want to have as a dinner guest?
Me.
You know what? It'd be Andrew. We're talking about 36 questions. Cue the music.
See, we're too similar, Jess. We'd have the same dinner guest. It wouldn't work.
Andrew just has a mirror in front of him for dinner.
I expected his answer to be Columbo.
Same.
I don't want to get that murder solved.
One thing, I came out here for one thing, and that little bitty one thing was to forget about you. But I guess I've learned something, that there's never really one thing, 'cause pretty quickly one thing evolves into two or three or more. For example, see the light in the hallway? It was always flickering. Ever since I was little, it was always flickering. After 3 days here, it was unbearable. My list grew. 2, fix the light bulb, and 1, forget about you.
36 Questions is a musical written by Chris Littler and Ellen Winter, with music and lyrics by Chris Littler and Ellen Winter. Based on the New York Times 36 Questions That Lead to Love. It was released in 3 50-minute acts. The 3 episodes were released by 2 Up Productions on July 10th, July 24th, and July 7th of 2017. It follows the story of an estranged husband and wife trying to reconnect over the 36 questions that lead to love, which were part of a psychological study that explores intimacy. And if you remember a previous adventure, actually 2 previous adventures, one of them I interviewed Chris Littler and Ellen Winter about this show, and another one me and Andrew answered the 36 questions to each other, and that was a pretty interesting thing. Maybe I'll re-release both those around this. I don't know. But what do we think about this podcast musical?
Oh boy. Who goes first?
Andrew, you go first.
I'm gonna be real. I'm just gonna be perfectly blunt here.
You're going to be honest, because honesty is really the most important thing. And
for the record, I'm going to try to be honest here.
Take a shot every time we say "for the record."
I found the first 2 acts to be completely insufferable, and I actually had physical difficulty getting through them. The cringe was extremely high. I could not stop cringing. I don't know if that's like a me thing, but it was bad. It was still bad in Act 3, but less so.
Well, the truth...
I think I'm allergic to, like, quirkiness. I don't know what it is.
It's not even that quirky.
What is it, then? It's like this, like, faux honesty. Like, I don't know.
The entire show is about lying and what the truth really is. In case you haven't noticed, I'm a fucking simp for the show, and I love it. Liz, what are your thoughts?
It's faux genuinism, not honesty. Because it's not about what's true and what's not true.
It is about what's true and what's not true.
No. I mean, like, what I don't like about the show is that it's pretending to be genuine, like, this is how people act, when it's not how people act, in my opinion.
For the record, I think Andrew is fucking crazy. Liz.
You think people talk to their phones and say "for the record" over and over and over again and tell you what the other person in the room is thinking?
It's called suspension of disbelief, motherfucker.
I ain't suspending it that fucking much.
You have to take a few concessions for a podcast musical. It's heightened enough.
No, I don't. Just tell the story. You don't need to justify it. This isn't a found footage fucking movie where you have to justify every camera.
Yes, it is though. It's a found footage musical that's also a period piece.
For the record, I just left the frame of the video while these two are arguing.
One of the worst things about the found footage genre is the fact that they constantly feel the need to justify that someone is filming something. It doesn't matter. Just tell the fucking story. Like, I don't care.
I like the fact that they justify recording this and that it is an important aspect of the story, that everything we're listening to is an audio recording.
It's embarrassing, and I can't take it.
Okay. That's just that's your opinion.
That is my opinion, for the record.
Liz, what is your thoughts?
Are mom and dad done fighting?
No, we got an hour of episode left.
That's true.
There's an hour
Okay.
more of this, and it's not going to end.
Okay, I'm just gonna call
So
it
buckle up, fuckers.
My body is ready.
For the record.
I like this. I thought.
Oh, so now it's a 2-on-1. Okay.
Unfortunately, I enjoyed this quite a bit. I do agree with Andrew that some of the for the record stuff, it gets kind of stupid at a certain point. But I found it at a certain point just like be sort of funny. I don't know. It grew on me as it went. But I
Okay.
enjoy this. I enjoy it. I think it's an interesting way to portray a relationship like destruction in a very exaggerated fashion. Like people don't really fake their identities all the time, but
Well-
like that's the point. This is a podcast musical. Like the premise is going to be kind of ridiculous. Like
Well, Liz, the thing is, maybe you are feeling the tension between me and Andrew right now. The truth is, Andrew has been lying to me for the last 5 years about who he really is. His real name is Drew Ann Wolfdy. And-
That isn't true. You're just making that up. He's actually the
so
one
Andrew's the
gaslighting you right now.
liar in this fan
Yes,
fiction.
and
So
he's
am I your child?
No, you're the duck.
Oh,
Henry.
okay.
Okay, I mean, where do we start
Where do I
now?
go from here?
Well, I think you came over because you wanted to burn your IDs.
I don't have an issue with these songs. I have an issue with the fact that I am subjected at the very start of the fucking show to them going, I'm gonna die in my car, blah, 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 dying in my car, I'm gonna die in my car. Shut the fuck up. I don't, it's not funny. It's not funny at all. I hate it. I hate it.
I
I've met
think-
this person. I don't like it.
So it's too real.
It's maybe too real and I can't take it, or it's too fake and I can't take it. It's one of the two.
So what is it?
I don't know.
Because, yeah,
I'm stuck between the two.
I don't think the show is trying to say that Judith/Natalie is a good person or a bad person.
It's not a morals thing. I don't care if she's a good or a bad person. I don't want to be around her. She seems insufferable. I don't want to talk to her. I don't want to listen to her. I don't want anything to do with her. If she was sat in the same bus as me, I would want to get off the bus because she'd probably be talking to her fucking phone the whole time and singing shitty songs about how the bus is gonna crash. I don't fucking know. I don't care if she lied to him. Why does he want to be around her?
Because he fell in love with her and she likes dogs.
It's like the manic pixie dream girl thing, right?
I will give you that one.
Yeah.
It's in.
I give you that fully.
I hate that trope because, and not because it's like sexist or anything. I know there's like criticisms in that regard. I think that those women seem insufferable to be around. I don't understand the appeal.
But she has a bit more dimension than, let's say, Zoe Deschanel in all 500 Days of Summer. She has a history, she has a past, she has reasons. She is a human being.
Yes, but they don't start with that. And even when they do flesh it out, I mean, by the end of that, she's just crying and shit, and it's just like I'm done here, you know.
Okay, lay out the story for us so we can kind of understand your point of view, because I feel like I'm cutting you off and not being able to let you express what
You're
you
not
want to
cutting me off. I've been talking too much, if anything. I'm gonna filibuster this episode so that everyone thinks this show sucks.
The show is good. It has
I
great
like
music.
it.
The show's about this. Well, it opens with this woman named
Natalie.
Judith, who went by Natalie,
Yes.
who is going to talk to her now
Estranged.
ex-husband, or maybe not even ex-husband. I'm not sure if they're actually divorced yet.
Not yet.
Estranged.
It's like-
So left
Yeah.
the wedding ring at the house, but no formal divorce.
Yeah. She stalked him there. That we learned that he did not tell her where he was going. So that's interesting. She also drove like 24 hours or some ridiculous amount of time to get there. Kind of creepy, in my opinion. Weird.
But they also don't like show it as not being creepy either.
True. I'm setting up that this person's insufferable. I don't really care about the morals of it. She really likes to talk to her phone a lot, and she is insistent on recording everything for
The record.
the record. The record. I guess she thinks she's going to listen back to this at some point. I'm not sure why you would want to. This seems like an embarrassing moment in your life that I would not want to relive ever. But she's going to reveal the truth. We don't get told what she lied about at first. It's like an intrigue thing, I suppose. We quickly learn that she did not tell her real life story to this guy, and they had been married for like 2 years or something like that.
Yeah, but they also got married really ridiculously fast.
Yeah. I mean, this just seems like a terrible relationship that would have never worked anyways. But she probably didn't start on the right foot by lying about everything about her.
I get the initial idea of like, hey, maybe I could just not be myself for an hour and see what that's like.
I will say the only thing that I liked about this show in that regard is that she went by Natalie at the end. So I think she like legally changed her name because she just didn't want to be.
Yeah, that's a nice touch.
Yeah, I like that
that's
touch
good.
a lot.
That's interesting. You know, I at least like that. It still didn't help me though. So they get to the house. The guy has a duck. They light everything on fire. And then she wants to read the 36 questions.
Because that's what they did on their first date, and it's supposed to rekindle love. And I think there's a second question coming.
Would you like to be famous? In what way?
I already am
Yes,
famous for
podcasting.
having a podcast.
Okay, we'll skip step one, number 3 then. Before making a telephone call, do you ever rehearse what you're going to say and why?
No, because apparently that's insane person things to do, to talk to your phone.
Absolutely not. I just call people and say whatever.
What would constitute a perfect day for you?
Listening to 36 questions, because it's about normal people doing normal things.
What? Jess, that doesn't even make sense.
That
The guy
makes
has a
no
duck in his house. They light the whole house on fire.
They don't light the whole house. He destroyed the house on his own volition.
There's a part where it's on fire. I remember this.
They burned
No,
a
they
little
light-
bit of it. They light the
yeah.
materials on fire. Her
They light a
fake
trash
IDs.
can on fire and they put a little too much fluid in it. Kind
They
of goes.
light that on fire, but they light the house on fire too. I remember.
No, they
it.
don't. You're wrong.
There's something like that. There's a lot of fire.
Who are you going to trust? The person that doesn't remember the podcast and the one who does.
I don't know. I think I have a personal thing. I have a personal problem with this type of character. I find the guy less insufferable, but still insufferable.
I find the guy a little more insufferable.
You
Sincerely.
think so? I mean, the Frasier part is really obnoxious.
Well,
Yeah.
he is drunk. And you
He was
don't.
pretty drunk at that point.
I like tossed salads
The-
and scrambled
The
eggs
duck
too.
thing. The duck thing feels like mega quirk to me. Like, haha, our character is so quirky because he found a duck. Isn't that funny? He brought
Well,
the duck home.
I think it's something to do with like co-parenting, like kind of showing co-parenting and things like that, so they could work as a family unit. There's something there. I don't know. I know that was part of when I talked to the composers about it. They were very keen on making sure that they didn't have anything too interesting being described, something that you'd really wish you had seen. So they wanted to keep it just mundane enough, but also interesting to listen to. That's mostly sound-based. Like, you can imagine a duck. It's not like a T-Rex or anything, you know?
They ask the 36 questions.
Yeah.
Then they get drunk on the beach.
They kiss.
Which,
Yeah.
they kiss.
This is a period piece. Like, what year does this take place in? 2009, 2008? Around
Well,
there?
technically speaking, it is like 2009 through 2017.
Yeah,
Yes.
it stretches. Yeah. It
So-
starts in 09. They get married in 07.
Yeah.
They mention her iPhone is like a model, like 1 or whatever. Like it's
Yeah.
real old, impossible to use.
Which I think lends credence to the fact, like, I've got this new technology. I'm going to use all the tools. I'm going to use the audio recorder, because I didn't used to have an audio recorder on me. I think it lends more credence to those things.
Did you know anybody who would record everything other than like Tommy Wiseau?
You beat me to it. You beat me to it, you son of a bitch. If I am going to say anything that I don't particularly love about this is a lot of the big developmental things happens while they're not recording, like the kissing and the development of anger and all those things. And we just get like the unpleasantries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even down to the ending where they don't tell you actually what happens after and
I-
they just end the recording.
I did ask the composers what they thought happened. They're like, no, they didn't get back together. That would be weird.
That is my opinion as well. I
Yeah.
think that personally, I don't think anyone should be with with either of these people, but
They should live in a little.
They should be alone.
Solitudinous box.
I think that they need a personality adjustment.
Speaking of things we really need, do you think this will adapt well to a film? Because a film has been announced to be made for Netflix to go along with the other wonderful Netflix films like 13 and Matilda and The Prom.
It's been in development hell since 2020. I don't think it's ever going to come out.
I don't know. There's a pandemic that happened in between there, as well as, a bunch of strikes that are currently going on right now.
Yeah.
So I don't quite know if it's development hell. However, looking at the guy that's attached to direct it, it's just some guy who has no real connection to musical theater in that way. It's very weird.
How much you want to bet it will be a weird found footage thing?
I mean,
they'll end it with them getting back together.
I hope not. Sincerely, this was made for an audio format. I think taking it out of that is a mistake, hardcore.
It was made. So this is my other issue with the show. It was made for an audio format in the same way that 3D movies in the 50s were made for 3D. You know what I mean?
You mean really good and well executed and just aged really, really well?
Everyone loves House on Haunted Hill or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think.
No, it feels like there's a lot of stuff that happens that specifically happens because they could add a sound effect to emphasize that it happened. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's bad. I think the sound design is really well done. All things considered. I think that is really well done.
I think it's fine, but I think that it's kind of like the 3D movie and they get the yo-yo, and woo, woo, woo.
I want that in a podcast musical, though.
I don't know if I do. Though maybe I do, but I don't want the weird found footage angle, and I don't want the characters to be constantly, talking to the phone.
For the record, Andrew's rolling his eyes.
Yeah, like that. No, that is actually painful. Every single time that happens, I did roll my eyes. I was like, oh my God, are you fucking... It's like... Because... in my mind, all I'm thinking is if I was sitting next to somebody and they're talking to their phone and we're having a discussion and I look away and then they go, for the record, he just looked away because he's disgusted with what I just said or something like that. I would be like, okay, leave. Get out. Get the fuck out of here. Bye.
Was there anything about this that you liked, Andrew?
I think the composition of the songs was good, but I do think that it really the what it's all about in the context of the songs hurts it for me a lot.
I don't agree with you, but I understand where you're coming from. I do play up the fake faux anger a little bit, but I do understand where you're coming from. I just don't agree with it, which puts this in a very difficult thing for content. Or it's I can't argue with taste.
It's true, which is why I think we should just talk about taste. What did you like about it, since I've been allowed to be fully negative so far? So you go ahead.
I actually think that the voices, I really love Jesse Shelton and Jonathan Groff as performers and vocalists. Jesse Shelton was the understudy Eurydice in Hadestown and one of the original Fates on the off-Broadway recording. She is got an incredible voice, and it's a very specific voice. In theater, I feel like everyone's got the Carnegie Mellon voice, and they kind of all sound the same, but she has a very distinct, specific voice, which to some can be grating, but I like a distinct voice. I like a Carol Channing. I like a Patti LuPone, because they don't just sound like everyone fucking else. And Jonathan Groff is more classic, but I can pick his voice out of a lineup, and it does have a slightly rockier edge than most of them. And having them be the only voices I hear is very pleasant to listen to. And while I don't return to listening to the podcast itself super duper often, I do return to the album quite a bit. And I think it is a very well-produced album made by two very talented songwriters, which at the end of the day, I won't say it's all that matters, but is what matters most to me. Shit, I'm still obsessed with Ride, and I still listen to that, and I don't know if that's an entirely effective musical, but fuck, that's an effective album. And if you make a good album, you've pretty much got a musical that's going to last well beyond its years. I think it's very well constructed. I like that Hear Me Out is also Answer 36 with a different chorus. Like, I really like how everything's structured. I like that Natalie gets her own song, but Judith also gets her own song. Like, I love how it develops and how, despite it feeling very obviously alternative kind of rock sound, it was mixed with a little bit of like that linting, like Zooey Deschanel vibe. They all sound distinct and they're not afraid to enter into that musical theater territory for the story. However, there are some things that rub me the wrong way and I'm still figuring out.
Really? What's that?
Who did fucking Judith kill?
Judith killed Natalie.
No, not Natalie.
No, she killed a person.
What?
She killed a person. I just don't know who.
Yeah, Camille. It was Camille, who was on the boat, and her parents had to like bail her out and be like, "Oh yeah, we had no idea who was on that boat, and we don't know why she's dead in there." It was in the song, "R Word."
We never rented a house in Sedona. We didn't see Camille the day she died. We haven't been on our boat in some years now, so we don't care what you found inside. And it's our word, yes, our word. It's our word, yes, our word.
Let's see what the Genius lyric says.
The family denies knowing anything about Camille's death, directly paralleling earlier in the song when Judith's mother teaches her to deny knowing anything about the mistake she made. Because the progression of the song thus far, we know they are lying.
This leaves us wondering who Camille is, why she died, while also hinting that the family may have played a role in her death. This suggests they have an even darker past than they first let on.
What the? Like,
it's just a weird thing to throw into a romance musical right in the dead center.
I don't know if that's actually suggesting that Judith killed her. It probably isn't supposed to be.
Hold on. Let me go onto the bridge. Somebody was paid to make it go away. Everyone was paid to make the problems go away. Doesn't matter who gets screwed or who is blamed or what you need to do to clear your name. An inconvenient truth can be easily erased.
No, man. Like, the fact that maybe, and I'm not saying the show morally or anything, but I don't like that we buy into the framing that he did something wrong, and the whole Act 3 is him, like, having to make it up to her.
He had to finish the questions.
You don't owe her anything, bro.
He just had to finish the questions.
He should have thrown the phone in the garbage and left it there. Oh my god.
Garbage disposal.
When did you last sing to yourself? To someone else?
Oh, I'm gonna die out here. I just sang it right here. What about you, Andrew?
Fucking damn that part.
Okay, I'm gonna just skip ahead to a question to get you two to work out your conflicts. Name 3 things you and your partner appear to have in common.
We host this fucking podcast. We have bad opinions and facial hair.
Those are all 3 true.
Those are true.
All right, let's compare our opinions to those of the people on Apple Podcasts. These are going to be a lot less choices and a lot longer, so prepare for that, kids. It's the 1-star, 5-star game. All right, are you ready, Liz and Andrew?
Yeah.
So I'm going to read very real reviews, and they have to tell me if it's a 1-star or 5-star based on the review alone. All right. Andrew, you're first.
Okay.
Did Judith kill someone? Who's Camille?
Yeah, that's a 5-star because that's too much of a deep cut for someone not to be a fan of the show.
That is correct. All right, Andrew, or Liz, sorry.
I'm ready.
A really sweet, touching story of a woman who lied her pants off on a whim for years, is shocked when her husband is hurt by her lies, stalks him multiple times, gaslights him, and berates him for not immediately forgiving her and taking her back, never takes responsibility for her actions, and acts like she's the hero that saves the relationship, and she sings a really annoying hipster coffee shop style pop voice.
Did Andrew write that?
He might as well have.
I feel like Andrew wrote that. 1.
That is correct. Andrew!
Yep.
Seriously? Everyone is giving this 5 stars? Yes, it's interesting and intriguing, but I couldn't get through one episode. Every other word is like. Sad that these are considered to be intelligent people. It makes it too distracting to hear conversations in between.
As funny as the irony of that being 5 stars would be, I think that is actually a 1-star.
All right, that is correct. Liz.
Ready.
I'd pick the knives.
5.
That is correct. Andrew.
Yep.
I like the idea. It kept me interested enough to finish. There are a lot of parts I didn't like, and the third act felt off. I also felt like the music was trying to be like the last 5 years. I do like her voice.
5?
That is correct.
Oh, shit.
Liz!
I'm ready.
While I appreciate the creativity and effort that obviously went into this epic project, it didn't seem to sustain interest or relevancy past the first act. The music, while solid, was heavily scored towards recitative and might have benefited from a few more songs with hooks. The biggest problem is the increasingly all too familiar millennial love story plot. Two self-absorbed, emotionally immature adults, one must be dragged under the microscope and cajoled into growing by accepting the other's emotional immaturity unconditionally. Pass.
1.
Damn, they're spitting.
That was a 5-star. I was very confused by that.
What? Wait, they liked?
They rated it 5 stars.
They rated it 5 stars, but damn, they fucking...
Damn, they trashed it.
That's
Shit.
some hot fire right there. That was good.
That was good. I was gonna say, did Andrew rate that one too?
I couldn't write that. I'm not that eloquent.
I was gonna say, did Sideways rate that? Because it's the only time I've heard recitative as a term in anything.
Recitative.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part I'm not sure about. I'm not sure they're using that right.
I don't think they're using that term correctly.
I think they're using it correctly. I think that they just didn't listen to the songs very well.
Yeah. Probably.
Okay.
I think they know what they were trying to say, but I think they're incorrect.
They need much more Sideways.
Yeah, he was supposed to be on today. It didn't work out, so well, he'll be on in October. Get ready, folks. Get excited. Andrew. She's a spoiled, selfish, unlikable, and she wants to go through the questions, but never actually answers them. Everything must be on her terms and hers alone. The ending was possibly the worst part. I love the idea of a podcast musical, but the book for this one is awful. You need a better storyline and better songs and a lead character that isn't awful.
Oh, God. I hate that I have to agree with a person like this because I feel like they're just writing this because they're a sexist. But, like, at the same time, I actually do agree. Okay. Yeah, 1.
That is correct. Liz, last one.
Ready.
Twee idiotic garbage.
1.
That is a 5, shockingly.
Damn it.
I like that trash.
I
5
love
stars.
trash. Feeding in my bones.
I'm the trash man.
I'm the trash me.
On that note, how about we go into a mid-show and then we talk about some of these songs? Hey guys, sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the show, but we've got a shill at you. Today's show is brought to you by the extremely kind donations by our donors over at Patreon. Andrew, tell us a little bit about Patreon and who's supporting us.
Dang, you go to Patreon if you want to support us financially to keep the show running, or if you want to get extra content as well, because we do have some more content on there. You can get a extra long cut of our Columbo episode. When we talk about Columbo, I mean Brigadoon episode. where we
Columbo
talk about
featuring
Brigadoon.
Brigadoon.
There is like 15 minutes preceding that is going to Patreon where me and Andrew get into a real life fight on video. It's great.
Yeah.
We beat the shit out of each other over Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting here like in the fetal position,
You
like,
think that it's
please
tense
save
here.
me.
It's not tense here until Mark Wahlberg comes up, and then it's bad.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't even
bad.
remember why we were fighting.
I don't
I don't think
remember
we did fight.
actually
I don't
anymore
remember
either.
fighting.
I remember me screaming and being actually frustrated.
I don't remember being frustrated, so I guess I won.
Who's supporting us, asshole?
Wait, you're not gonna read these things that we have
I
here?
will get them after you read the list.
Okay. Our current patrons are Melissa Goldman, Danielle Rennick, Cessa Stampede, Ewan Cassidy, Monica Thoreau, Brent Black, Nathaniel Stacey Coombe, Joseph Evans Green, Mary Lou Choquette, John Vanales, Russ Walker, Musical Hell, Emily Gracie, Kyle Summers, Janae C., Scoot in the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Liz Lim, Nothing is Certain Except Bethan Taxes, Thespian, Robert Benjamin, Jessica T., Mitchell Young, Chai Teacup, Chris Marcotte, Kiji Maria Anastasio, Trevi Joseph, Leela, RJ Noriga, Julia McLennan, Bjorn Hermans, Toriana Frazier, Sammy the Adequate Amount Jacobson, Leanna Morton, Kaylee Blazier, Cinemageddon Reviews, Villainous Miss, Sophina Ali, The Omega Geek, Paige Pearson, Maddie Wargel, Eliza Erdman, Anna Loskatova, Sarah Den Blaker, Evan Ball, Zachary Torres, Rora Marasso, Mara Forloin, Captain Rod Taskic, Lisa L., Possessed Washing Machine, Nick R.O.10, Roten, Nick Roten,
Third try.
Puffy Boy, Julia Hardy, Jay Kusia, Caitlin Bridgman, Sydney Hicks, Anna Bell, Billy Clifton, Andrew Wright, The Red Caboose Kaboom, and Katie.
They give us a little financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musicals with Cheese. And if you'd like to support us, come over to Patreon. But if you would like to support us in other ways, you could leave us iTunes or Spotify reviews. They have new things on Spotify where you can leave comments on podcast episodes. I did not know this, so we had a lot. And I want to be able to read some of them. As well, our Apple Podcast reviews. So if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to take a look at these. So the first one is a 5-star review from Super Beetle. The title was, Always a Good Time. Seriously, where's the fan animation for this podcast? I really love the dynamic of the hosts and the episode structure. I rate it Pepperjack. It's weird and it's got little bits in it, but it's so good. Do you agree with that, Andrew?
Yeah, I agree completely. We need fan animations. Let's go.
Our Columbo episode alone, I think, deserves a fan animation.
Draw me as Columbo. I want to be Columbo.
Yeah. My wife loves
I want to
this
be
place.
Jet. No,
My wife.
My wife.
My wife.
The Jeff verse. God, that's such a good episode
The Jeff
for
verse.
such a musical like Brigadoon. This one's from ZDCHM, who says, really funny commentary about musicals. I really enjoy all the episodes. Totally love the High School Musical episodes too. But I have a big note about the Bye Bye Birdie episode. They keep correcting themselves to say that Rita Moreno was in the original, not Cheetah Rivera. But it definitely was Cheetah and not Rita. Cue the Forbidden Broadway song. I fucked up, guys. That's my bad.
He knows.
Very cool.
I tried to gaslight the audience by going in and editing me to say the correct thing and then re-uploading it.
Maybe you didn't find them all, or
No, I got them all. It just, once it's in the podcatcher, like once it's downloaded to your phone, it's downloaded to your phone. So people future will be able to hear the correct name, but people that already had it.
It's too late for them.
Yes. And this is from Drew Michael. Musicals with Cheese is always a pleasant experience to listen to. Andrew and Jess bring me a full musical experience without having to watch the thing. Even if the show is bad, they make it funny. Thank you, Drew.
We're like the nostalgia critic.
No.
On the real though,
we remembered.
Real opinion, we are not a replacement for the musical. You should go listen to them.
Unless it's bad.
And then maybe don't. But if it's good, you don't just listen to us. Go watch the fucking
Yeah,
thing.
go watch it.
I didn't put this one in, but someone said, I would have never have even thought about the musical MAME, and now I feel like I've got a wealth of information. I'm grateful that you guys really make newcomers feel welcome. And that was nice. Then Paradiso Lebrenzine, it's gibberish words. One episode into this show and I'm already obsessed. Getting back into podcast with this one.
Hey.
And then Charlotte Boyle said, I want to share how I found your podcast. So I was in a production of Aristocats Kids. I'm 14, LOL. And I was looking for the songs on Spotify and there was the episode that I thought was the music, LOL.
Didn't we say a lot of stuff in that and we were like specifically this isn't for kids?
Yeah, I think specifically we said this isn't a show for kids, and we had a good guest, like a fun little guest. Like, we should have him back. Movies with Mikey. Let's get back to the show. The opening song is "Hear Me Out," which Judith sings on her way, well, basically on the doorstep of Jace's house.
Whoever you are, you share a lot in common with my husband, Jace. You have the same car, so either he sold it or maybe you stole it and didn't change the plates. So I feel like I know you, like we've met before. I drove like 27 hours to get to this place. If you were him, you'd open up the door.
It's fine. I think this was before I was fully in maximum cringe mode, so I think I did sort of enjoy this one. I was like, all right, I can see what they're doing. And I was sort of intrigued, like, what did she lie about,
What did you think she lied about before it got revealed?
I mean, I just assumed it was like I cheated on him or something, you know?
No, that's too easy and too simple to solve.
Yeah, like Columbo wouldn't even be needed for that.
So you cheated on your wife. Huh. My wife wouldn't like it if I cheated on her.
Columbo's a slut, okay? He'd be fine with it.
I sit in the cuck chair and then I watch her. Speaking of cuck chair, the next song is called One Thing, and I like this song quite a bit too. It's like a reverse 12 Days of Christmas where the list just keeps on getting longer. And it reminds me a lot of Great Comet's opening number 2, where he's like one thing, and then one thing became this, and then this, and then this, and then leading up to And Forget About You.
Cement can get old. In trying to fix one thing, I made everything worse. My list grew. 9, buy new cement. 8, take care of this duck I found. 7, clean out the pipes for the bathroom and the kitchen. 6, rebuild the wall. 5, keep out the pest. 4, kill the black mold. 3, rewire the ceiling. 2, fix the light bulb. And 1, forget about you.
Which just shows like how much he's failing to distract himself. It's a very effective kind of songwriting style that I don't see really put into this jazzy form. In fact, there's a cover on the more recent album of it that is done as just a fully jazz swing version, and you should put that right here because it's like really cool sounding.
One thing, I came out here for one thing, and the little bitty one thing was to forget about you. But I guess I learned something. There's never really one thing, 'cause pretty quickly one thing evolves into 2 or 3 or more.
It's a crescendo of a song that just keeps getting louder and bigger and faster, and I really think it has a good build to it.
A centerpiece of like what the show is, because obviously he never does forget about her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's got that going for it, I suppose.
Fair enough. Let's talk about your favorite song, For the Record.
For the record, this is self-destructive. For the record, I'm aware of that. For the record, I've been picturing her body draped over the sofa wearing nothing but her hat. For the record, I'm screwed. For the record, this can still go my way. For the record, I can keep my pride. All I have to do is keep us focused on the questions. Each one of her responses will remind me how she lied. That's the answer. That's what I'll do. I'll use the 36 questions as a lifeline. And of course I have sympathy for the pathological liar who did this to me. Yes, I admit, I wish I could touch her.
For the record, Andrew is rolling his eyes.
We are deep into it now. So this is after she burned everything, and then after he sang about how he would want to meet her for dinner or whatever.
Yeah, like we answered, I answered Andrew.
Yeah, and Andrew answered himself.
Everything, I'm kind of like blinded by just how much I disliked these characters and didn't want to be around them. That I don't know if I can like say if I enjoyed the song or not.
I mean, they do kind of interrupt it by answering questions and flirting a bit, which kind of ruins the flow of it a bit. It's not my favorite. I don't particularly like the song either.
Yeah, I don't. There's a couple songs where they interrupt them with stuff because like later on they have one of the ending songs where they just have a child constantly interrupting it.
No, he never interrupts any of the songs. It's just the dialogue.
Well, the child creates the dialogue in a way.
Yes.
But I don't love that. There's another song I can't remember, but there was like duck noises during it.
That was probably one thing.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, they do that. I don't know. I'm not a fan of them interrupting songs like that, especially when it's a fully audio format.
The only time I think it's really effective, because I don't disagree with that, is a better version, where I think the interrupting is the best part of that song. I think that song, it builds up to the chorus so beautifully, and it describes the scene, where she describes meeting him, how they got together, and how their relationship developed and fell apart in a very succinct way, where each piece of monologue builds up to the next like choral line.
My have started when I went for a jog and spotted you in the park, sitting with a dog. So I stopped and asked, "Can I pet your dog?" And so there we were, me and this golden retriever, basking in the abundance of sun Austin provides. And suddenly you blurted out, "This isn't my dog. Actually, it's my friend's dog, Sheila. I'm taking care of her while he's away. She's on a lot of medication." And I laughed and you laughed, saying you didn't want to be found out when you asked me to coffee, and there was no dog. I said yes, and you said, "I'm Jace. What's your name?"
And I think this is probably my favorite song in the show because of that, where it really uses the audio format to the best of its ability and made it like the relationship side. I think it's very, very good.
I think that they needed something like this earlier, because I think by this point I didn't want to hear out Judith anymore. I had no interest in doing so. And it was too late for me to really come around and be like, oh, I guess she's like hurt by stuff and like, oh boy.
Well, we had our word, which was her describing her parents' way of dealing with things, which is basically to lie. So it's ingrained into her to lie. It's something generational trauma, you might say.
Sure, but that's not really. You don't get to use that as an excuse. Like, you don't say like, oh, well, my parent beat me, so I beat my kid. That it's generational trauma. You can't blame me.
You have to break the chain, which is what she's trying to do by burning Natalie.
Sure,
and coming
but
clean.
she's being. The whole thing is it's so like it's all brought on because he found out though. Like, she wouldn't be doing any of this if she wasn't forced to. Like, she would still just be Natalie.
What harm does it do to him to not know that she had a shitty past?
What harm does it do to him to not know that? Nothing. What harm does it do to him to be in a relationship where you don't know the past of the person at all, or their real name, or like who they were before you met them, or anything? Probably quite a bit, I would say.
I mean, it's not like she's lying about like having an STD. It's nothing that affects him individually. Like, why does that matter? It should only matter when it starts a relationship, really. What, shouldn't it?
They were married.
Yeah. I'm gonna actually be on Andrew's side for first time here.
If it was one date, I totally agree. Like, if they did a one night stand and he freaked out because, oh my God, you didn't tell me your real name. Like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
they were married.
Yeah, I obviously I'm not married, but when you've been through stuff, you like to tell your partner about it just so they know how you respond to things based on your past.
And if you're willing to lie about your entire past,
what else are you willing to lie about? I'm kind of with Andrew on that one. That's a little, but I really do like this song. So
it's a red flag.
Yes.
It's a red flag to completely lie about everything that you are to your person you're married to. I will say this is the defense of It's a Better Life, right? That's the song? Yeah,
a better version.
Better version. As I person, without getting into it, who's been through some trauma in my lifetime, I felt that because you want to have a different version of you exist. You don't want to have a version of you that went through the trauma, and that really hit me. I got a little teary-eyed at a certain point in the song.
Same.
Genuinely,
for very similar reasons. That's why I attached and kind of saw that point of view too.
Yeah, that's when this show really hit me. Okay, this is actually a thing I can connect to. I can see where she's coming from. I wish she didn't lie completely to him at all. But I see where she's coming from.
What did you think of Jace's song Reality, which is basically his response to Better Version, which is you lived a lie, I want to live in reality, and I'm not going back with you, and that is the reality. Fuck you. And I figured Andrew would like that, because this is him destroying her world.
What I know is I still love you. That's my reality. I'd give anything to wake up with you next to me. You and I spent 2 years of our lives lost in your lies, far from reality. And it felt like a dream. 'cause it was.
Yes, and I think that this should have been the closing number.
A 2-act musical.
2-act musical.
Yeah, I mean, like, no, because if you think about it, like, morally speaking, I think that he's completely right. That, like, he should never go back with her, and she has a lot of growing to do. But instead, the Act 3 turns around and is like, actually, he had all the growing to do. He should have just accepted her. Ha ha. Like, no. She obviously had a lot of stuff to push past, and she needed to learn. He was kind of fine.
Well, he does say the thing that I think we all agree with, which is kind of his growth through the first 2 acts, which is, why do I always give in? That's on me to change. That's my reality. I can't do this to myself again. I deserve someone who accepts reality. I can't imagine rebuilding my life with you, constantly on the edge of what all that I know is true, and you would string me along like you always do, knowing I would never let go. Which,
And he doesn't even get that growth, because Act 3 is him going back to her like a little fucking pathetic slug.
Or he just wanted some closure on his past.
yes, that's what I'm
He
saying.
wanted to stare into her eyes for 4 minutes straight.
It wasn't even 4 minutes straight. His stupid idiot child kept interrupting.
Yeah. So he didn't want
Yeah,
the kid to be
mad.
there. He wanted to make out.
He was obviously going there to get back together. That's why he brought his kid, right?
No,
Yeah,
he
clearly.
brought his kid because he couldn't get a sitter. He said that.
That's what
He didn't want the kid to be there. He didn't want the kid to be there.
Do you really think he's gonna get back together with Judith or Natalie,
No.
whoever?
Do I think he will? No. Do I think he wants to? Yes.
Why? I don't think he wants to.
Because you don't open up your fucking ex-wife's phone fucking 8 years later and then send her an email and then beg her to come to Applebee's with you. I mean, come on.
No. He said the fucking answers, and he said, "I'm done." And then she replied, "Actually, you need to stare in my eyes."
So it's her
and then
doing
he was
that.
like, okay. On my way, my sweet.
I think you're giving.
My lady, here I come.
For the record, Andrew was tipping his hat when he said that.
And that's not even a lie.
I actually think that was an important one for the record.
Yeah, that's an actual for the record. If you sign for a Patreon, you can actually see him tip his hat.
Like, I get frustrated in the development. So let's talk about Listen Back for a minute.
The whole point of me recording right now is to hold myself accountable for the feelings I still feel. I thought it was over, thought I was moving forward. But I guess that's why I have this, to show me what's real. The perils of keeping your ex-wife's phone in your possession. You're only really saying you've put the past to rest. It is all too easy to feed your old obsession. You wanna prove you moved on, let's put it to the test. So I turned on my speakers, plugged them in to the jack. But I wasn't prepared for how it would feel to listen back. It was a painful little listen back. I had a little listen back. My first and last listen back.
Where Jonathan Groff, Jace, listens to the entire 36 Questions, Act 1 and 2, several times over the years. Like, every year, it seems like. Every time he has a fight with his new wife, he just goes and listens to his ex-wife cry on the fucking phone.
Weird. Guy's weird.
But now he realizes lying is good because he lies to his wife and children all the time, apparently.
Yes. A lot of growth that he went through. He
He
grew
learned
as a
that
person.
lying is actually good. Because the truth is not black and white, which is the moral of the story, I guess.
Yeah, I
The
guess.
moral of the story was that she was actually right the whole time, and lying to the person you're married to about your literal name, totally fine.
What's in a name, as Shakespeare once said?
A lot of things.
Letters and sometimes vowels.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I mean, it's also on legal documents. I feel like if he was married to Natalie Cook, he probably couldn't get into Judith Ford's hospital bed, you know?
Wait.
Whoa,
The specific phrasing of "get into her hospital bed" implies things I don't think you're intending
her
to.
hospital room, whatever you want to say.
I'm gonna crawl into your hospital bed, baby.
You know what I mean.
But in the last song, "The Truth," they basically state what I believe is the thesis of the show. The truth is, the truth doesn't exist in black and white, and sometimes two sides can both be right.
And you know what? That's really the moral of this episode as well.
What's true for you doesn't have to be true forever, and sometimes the truth isn't always for the better. It's something we aspire to, or maybe it's something we say until it gets in the way.
Playing loosey-goosey with the truth is not a moral that I agree with.
I don't know.
I agree that lying is something that you should and have to do sometimes, but I'm not sure that this show even gives us an example of a time where you should lie. It gives a lot of examples of times when you shouldn't lie.
I mean, should we lie about how Camille died?
No, you definitely shouldn't. Like, you really
Should I lie to my dad about the boat in a bottle?
Honestly, no, I don't think you should. I don't think that you should do that.
Should I lie to my son about why I'm visiting my ex-wife?
Again, I mean, your kid's 5, so lying to him doesn't matter.
Lie to the 5-year-old.
But if they were like 12, like maybe you should tell the truth about that. Again, though, even if this was the exact moral of the show and it played out exactly like this, but Judith talked like a normal person and Jace talked like a normal person.
Okay, explain what they say that is abnormal. Aside from the for the records. You already used that example.
It's the for the records thing. It's the quirky, like every single time something happens, there's like some like, oh, I have to go talk to Henry the Duck. Haha. Like it's like all this like goofy, dumb shit that has to happen. And it's just, this isn't how humans behave. This is how like comic side characters on a sitcom behave, like Friends, which they reference
or
in
Frasier.
here. Or Frasier, which it's like, yeah, maybe this is how characters on a sitcom behave, but this isn't a show where sitcom characters should be existing. This is too real of a show to be doing that. I don't know. And the manic pixie dream girl trope, like I feel like that's very strong in this.
Okay, what if Christ. What if Jace had a live podcast that he recorded weekly and Judith just calls into it constantly, and that is the framing device? Would it suddenly be better? And instead of Henry, it's a fucking audience.
I'm going to be honest here. I think that if you just did this exact show as it is, but didn't have her recording anything, she's like recording but not talking to it, like that would be fine. I think the framing device hurts a lot, but also I think the characterization of the characters I find painful. They do it multiple times. They do the fucking thing where it's like, oh, I forgot to bring my coat. Oh, well, you can put your head in my thing. I'm not gonna do that. It cuts. Oh my god, he's currently doing it.
I have to leave you behind. I know that sounds harsh, but that's just reality.
Yeah.
For the record, Jess and Andrew might be breaking up right now.
This is one of those episodes where everyone is going to disagree with me and think I'm a super mean person, but sorry.
Well, you know who else really cares? The record. So what's our overall thoughts and our cheese ratings for the record?
I think I don't need to get into it, and I feel like it's not going to help at all. I thought that some of the music was fine, but God, is this not for me? Holy fucking shit. I feel like this is written for someone with a Tumblr account or something, but it's definitely not written for me. Yeah, I didn't like it. I'm going to give it a cheese I don't like, which doesn't exist. So it doesn't get a cheese.
Oh, no! No! That's not allowed!
Editor's edition, on further reflection, I'm actually going to give this mac and cheese, with cheese as all abbreviated, which is the TV show that Joey starred on in the hit sitcom Friends. I feel that's a fair cheese to give this.
Well, that's fair. You're often wrong, and this is just another case of it. Liz, what is your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. I do kind of agree with Andrew that some of like the tropiness of it all can be grating to some, and I concur with that. I don't mind it. I was on Tumblr in 2012, so like maybe that's why I have some toleration of this.
Bring up some super
Yes, I
Hulock,
was
why
on
don't
Tumblr in
you?
2012. I don't know my Tumblr blog anymore. Don't look it up.
It's Liz Eston 96 at tumblr.com.
It's actually not. Good luck. Good luck finding it though. Yeah, I
Super
enjoyed
Hulock,
it enough.
666.
I had a
I love
demonic
John
Tumblr.
Watson 53.
Columbo 67.
God, if only Tumblr had that good of taste.
Oh my god, what if Tumblr like suddenly overnight became obsessed with Columbo?
That'd be
and, like,
iconic.
like became a part of Supernatural. Oh, my wife once saw a vampire too, and oh my
Yeah,
god.
so Super Hulock, but add Columbo, so Colum Super Hulock.
Then it would really be a shame that they banned porn.
That'd be hot. But anyway, yes, I was on Tumblr in 2012. Yes, I was cringy, 100%. So I enjoyed this enough. It's a nice little reflection on my terrible habits back then. But I've
Did you lie to your husband for years?
No, I don't have a husband to lie to, but
Anymore.
I did have.
Because
Yeah,
you lied to him.
I don't have a husband now. I never had a husband. I don't know if I ever will at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, Jess, stop projecting.
Liz,
I'm kidding. I'm in a
wink.
relationship for a long time. One day, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, I enjoyed it. I'm going to give this a cheese platter at a divorce party, which is a real thing people throw now.
You know what? I think we should celebrate divorces more because it's two people deciding to choose their own happiness. And I think
learned
that's
about
a
it
good
in a
thing.
Lifetime movie. It was really sad.
Well, fuck. I was trying to be positive. Every time a friend of mine says they got divorced, I say, congratulations on putting yourself first. That's my response.
100%.
I like 36 Questions. I think it's a good show. I think if they make a movie of this, which they might, or they might not, it would be really, really bad. I like John the Groff. I like Jesse Shelton. I like Chris Littler and Ellen Winter. I think they're good people. Ellen Winter's new album, Every Little Feeling, is wonderful, and it's very much in the same style as this. Andrew would probably emulate himself if he started listening to that.
Is it like they talk like this, or is it just a similar music style?
Similar music style.
I don't think I would emulate myself then.
All right, and my cheese rating, as is the case of this show, is Bagos cheese 36 months, which I guess means it was left sitting for 36 months in a unique and delicious Italian cheese. Apparently it's really good, but yeah, 36 months. Yeah. Andrew, stare into my eyes for 4 minutes.
Oh, wait. Would you want to do rapid fire on some of these questions?
Yes, throw them at us.
All right, let's go. Okay, where the
Andrew, we
fuck do
answer
we
at the
stop?
same time.
Okay, if you could wake up tomorrow and gain any one ability or quality, what would it be?
Horsecock.
Andrew,
Oh man, I'd want to have a lot of money.
if a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, and the future, or anything else, what would you want to know?
Nothing.
Something.
Is there something you've dreamed of doing a long time? Why haven't you done it?
Recording a podcast episode of 36 Questions because I didn't feel like it.
I don't have enough money.
What's your greatest accomplishment?
Doing a podcast episode of 36 Questions.
Definitely not the 36 questions one. This podcast is going to be embarrassing for me in several years, I'm sure.
If you know that one year you would die suddenly, what would you change anything or the way you were now living? Why?
Probably not. Financial.
I'd probably eat more cheese because I know that it wouldn't kill me.
Oh, you're right. You know what? I'd probably jump out of a plane.
Well, actually, do I know when during that year I'm going to die, or is it just I'm going
You
to
just
die
have an
that
idea
year?
of when you're going to die, I think.
Oh, well, yeah, then I probably wouldn't jump out of a plane then.
All right,
'Cause
I'll
that'd
end
probably
with
be
this.
what would kill me.
I'll end with this one because these get dark, and I don't want you to share too deep in your personal lives on this
Give us
36
one dark
questions
one.
podcast.
Give us one dark one.
Okay, when did you last cry in front of another person, by yourself?
It was day 2 of the film. It was on a FaceTime call with Miranda, and I was not doing well.
Oh, and by yourself.
That was both in one night.
I got it.
I feel like it's not appropriate for me to answer because it was a bit personal and it has to do with why there wasn't episodes that one time.
So instead, I'm gonna give his answer from Question Box, and that was when he was driving home from that girl's house. Listen to our Question Box episode for that.
All right,
Yeah, that is less recent though, but you know.
That sounds pretty good, though.
I'll end with a nice one. Tell your partner something you like about them already.
We did this already.
Do it anyway.
You first.
Jess, you are much more organized than I am. We would never do this show if you didn't get it all together.
Andrew, you are a much better editor than I am. This show has gotten immensely better because of a lot of things you're doing with it. So thank you for that.
See,
Dang, we're
we
so
like
nice.
each other.
Now give me a little kiss. Thank you guys for listening. Please follow us on iTunes and Spotify and wherever the fuck else on Musicals and Cheats. Leave us comments on Spotify. Apparently you can do that now. I'll try to keep up with them better. We're on Twitter at Cheesy Musicals, Patreon Musicals Cheese, Instagram Musicals Cheese, YouTube page Musicals and Cheese, Patreon only podcast, Patreon with Cheese. Me and Liz are going to do some fun things. Maybe we'll do theater camp. I don't know. Email us at musical theater. We should. Maybe we'll drag Andrew into that one day for a real episode. Ben Platt's in it.
True.
Email us at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com. Our keeper of the cheese is Juliet Antonio. This show is edited very well by Andrew DeWolf. Thank you to the Broadway Podcast Network for having us on the platform and for not kicking us off for telling so many dirty lies. My name's really Jess Daniels. All right, anything else we got to say before we wrap this up?
I have this is my fake name. You'll never know my real name.
Leave all the hate comments. Leave all the hate comments for me. You know, give me credit. Did I piss you off? I'm sure I did.
I feel like you haven't gotten hate comments in a good few years. It's well overdue.
It has been a while. I think the last one was The Lightning Thief.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was, and then we went to Broadway Con and you met the entire cast of Lightning Thief.
none of them even noticed me. Although they did inject Jess with COVID directly.
George
I saw them do it.
Salad injected me with COVID.
He thought you were me, I think. He thought you were me.
Yeah, you and I look enough alike. We could be brothers.
Yeah. But I feel like there has to be at least one episode every couple of years where I just go all out and just full on I hated this fucking show, you know?
And is this the one for this year?
I think so, because it's been a long time that I've had like a visceral reaction to something where it was like,
When was the last visceral reaction, do you think?
it was The Lightning Thief.
God damn, I did not realize you were that much of a pussy.
You know, you were wrong.
Bu- 3 times I nearly wrecked my life. 3 times I nearly came to ruin. 3 times I went crying to my parents who said they'd make it go away. This is all they had to say. We never rented a house in Sedona. We didn't see Camille the day she died. We haven't been on our boat in some years now. And we don't care what you found inside. And it's our word. Yes, our word. It's our word against theirs.
This is not reality, not reality, not reality.
This is reality.
Yeah, that's reality. Not reality, reality.